Hi Dollar Divas, welcome to Behind the Vanity. I'm Jessica. If you are new to my channel, first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I do hope that you will stay, and if you do, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell notification, that way you're always notified of videos like this. I love making videos about affordable beauty and the occasional high-end splurge, and I love making Dollar Tree oriented videos as well. So if that sounds good to you, you are definitely in the right place. So today's video is going to be a buy this, not that, or a buy this instead of that Dollar Tree edition. So basically, if you're at the Dollar Tree and you see these two products, in my opinion, which one I would buy. Of course, it's all based on stuff that I have or that I have used. And just because I say buy this one instead of that one doesn't mean that I don't love that one. It's just I might have a reason as to why I would pick it up. If I could only pick up one, I might pick up this one. So I will kind of explain a little bit more in depth kind of what I mean. That way you can actually make a decision based on your own preferences as well, because just because I prefer something and would pick it for this reason or that reason, you might pick the other thing because you like what I don't like. So anyways, I think this will be a fun video, and I think it's one that a lot of you may be interested in, because sometimes I think when we're at the Dollar Tree, we just think things aren't going to be good and we don't always know what to pick, and sometimes we do just throw everything in the cart and try it, but sometimes you don't want to spend that dollar, or you don't want to spend $2 to compare. You know, sometimes you just don't want to do that. So I think a video like this is good to kind of inform you a little bit based on my experience how some of these products perform. I'll also have my entire Dollar Tree makeup and haul playlist linked down below. That way you can binge watch all of my Dollar Tree oriented videos if that's something that you enjoy. Also, the makeup that I'm wearing today, I don't know if the video is already out. If it is, I will link it down below. If not, then stay tuned. I am wearing makeup on my face that is the least favorite in my collection. It's not all makeup that I hate, it's just out of all of the categories of makeup in my collection, it's my least favorite product in each category. Now, some of it I really don't like, and then others I just had to pick something. So if that sounds good to you, definitely check that video out either when it comes out or down below in the description box. So anyways, if you want to see my buy this instead of that Dollar Tree edition, definitely keep on watching. So before I start, I do understand that a lot of these products you may not find at your local Dollar Tree. Either you haven't been there at the right time, on the right day, or they just don't sell them at the Dollar Tree that you go to. They are all different. So I do think helping explain like the pros and cons of some of these as I go along will help you make a decision. That way, if the one that I say, if it were me, I would buy this one. If what you see is the other one, you'll have a little bit more information on how it works, how I like it, for what it's worth, and all that good stuff. So anyways, I think this is gonna be fun, so let's get started. So for eyelashes, they have some really great eyelashes at the Dollar Tree. 4 brands of eyelashes that I generally see at the Dollar Tree are ColorMates, Wet n Wild, LA Colors, and Ioni. It's been a long time since I've tried the Wet n Wild ones, and the ColorMates ones aren't usually my favorite, so I have 2 here that I really like. There's just one that I like better, and I will explain why. So my favorites are the Ioni Faux Mink from the Dollar Tree. They have very dramatic styles, and then they have some more simple styles too. So for instance, if you don't like this style because it's too dramatic, they do have simpler styles, so don't let that scare you with this one particular style. And there are dozens, literally dozens. My Dollar Trees go in and out of carrying them and not carrying them, so I might not see them for a little while and then I will see them. These are fabulous. They literally could easily charge like $4, $5, $6, $7 for a set of these. They last a long time. I do find I have to trim them for my eyes, but these are wonderful, and I would buy those over the LA Colors ones. But I do love the LA Colors ones. They have several styles. This is the style Dolly, and I have worn them, so that's why they look a little bit messy. And then they also have a style, I think, called Diva that are also really nice. And then they've got some other ones. I think they have a style called Dainty, where, again, very natural lash. These ones and the Diva ones, I really like these lashes. Again, I have to trim these as well. They're a little bit more on the natural side, but they're very pretty. They're very easy to put on. They're not quite as luscious as the Ionis, but I do like them. Like I said, these are really good too, and if you see them, definitely give them a try, especially if you like a more natural lash. But these have absolutely stolen my heart. Love these so, so much. Now we've got makeup applicators. And by makeup applicators, I mean like beauty blender sponges or like silicone sponges. So basically, I used to love silicone sponges. I used them for like a long time. They're very sanitary, they last a long time. And then I kind of moved on to the beauty blender. So for me personally, and I really like these from the Dollar Tree, these get like mixed reviews, but I love these Sassy Plus Chic beauty blender sponges. So personally for me, I'm gonna pick this up over the Whispers silicone sponge. Now, I was very excited when I saw this because I had never seen silicone sponges at the Dollar Tree before, and Whispers is like a really good brand. They sell like pricey cotton pads and different things like at Walmart and all that good stuff. But for me personally, I do like the sponge. I used to love this method, but now I kind of feel like it kind of smears it on my face, and I have really gotten to enjoy the beauty blender. So like I said, this is a great way to go. So if you do see this at the Dollar Tree and you want to try it, or if you love this method and you don't know you can get them at the Dollar Tree, definitely check your local Dollar Tree for these. But for me personally, I like the beauty blender sponges that they sell there. And I think a lot of people say that they're hard. When I wet them, they are really soft, so I enjoy them personally. So for me, if I go, I'm gonna pick this over this. So for face makeup, I recently found the Wet n Wild Cushion Foundation, but I didn't really want to include that in here because I'm trying to pick some things that are a little bit more that you will see kind of all the time at the Dollar Tree. Like sometimes Dollar Tree will get hard candy. A lot of times it does carry some of the same e.l.f. stuff that I've seen for years, but like the hard candy and like now Flower Beauty, I sometimes find that those are like trends, like it'll carry those things for a while and then it'll stop. So I'm trying the best I can to pick things that I've seen there, you know, kind of on a more regular basis. So I'm not including the Wet n Wild Cushion Foundation, as well as the Flower Beauty Tinted Moisturizer, which I have, but I've not tried yet. So I'm kind of going with things that you will see often. So for me personally, I have gotten to really like the Sassy Plus Chic BB Cream and Foundation. I wear the shades medium. And I'm not 100% sure that these are not the same product. I haven't used this one enough to know, but I do really like both of these. This BB cream wears, I feel, like a foundation, very much so. It does need to be set down because it is a little tacky, but like I said, it's a lot thicker, I think, than a lot of other tinted moisturizers. Like I said, definitely wears like a foundation. And I would choose this over this LA Colors Liquid Makeup any day of the week. Now this isn't in my right shade. This is in tan, and the day that I went to go get like makeup for a full face LA Colors, it was like the lightest shade that I could get. It was the closest shade I could get, or the only shade that I could get, but I have used it in a lighter shade. It just doesn't cover much. These, like I said, are a little bit more coverage, a little thicker, but if you like a little bit of a lighter coverage, you might like the LA Colors Liquid Makeup. So it just kind of depends on your preference. But for me personally, I would go with either one of these. I was so pleasantly surprised by these. I hesitated trying them for the longest time, and I'm so glad I did. And they come in like light, medium, and dark. And of course, standard with a lot of the stuff from the Dollar Tree, they don't have good shade ranges. But if you can wear skin makeup from the Dollar Tree, I prefer these personally. So now we're on to face powder. I've got an e.l.f. powder there before, and then there's also an LA Colors loose powder that's pretty good. But I'm gonna show you kind of my most favorite and my least favorite that I've tried at the Dollar Tree. They're both by LA Colors. So this is my favorite. It's the LA Colors setting powder. This is in light, and I love this. And I really like this powder as well. I just don't think I like it as much as that. And it's the one that comes in this black container. It's also an LA Colors setting powder. This is in beige. And so that's what that powder looks like. There was a time where I was wondering whether or not they were the same thing, just repackaged, but I don't think so. Like I said, I do gravitate towards this, and I do, even though I like the LA Colors loose powder, it's actually in my current makeup basket. This, I think, tops it. I think if I have to reach for any one of my setting powders from the Dollar Tree, this is the one that I tend to gravitate towards. Also, this one here, I was able to get beige. The beige and the light, they're very similar. I do feel like this is a little lighter. And this was probably the lightest shade that I could find. So sometimes these tend to be a little too dark for my taste. So yeah, I think I bought this one here because it was the best shade for me on that given day and found out I really liked it. So yeah, they're both really good, as well as the loose setting powder. And if you see the e.l.f. one as well, they're all good. I love all four of them. But yeah, if I had to just pick one, this would be my go-to. But like I said, again, this is very good as well. So contour palettes. So I've only come across, I think, 2 contour palettes at the Dollar Tree like ever. So you know that for a long time I have enjoyed this Beauty Benefits Hollywood contour palette. I love the contrast in the colors. I love that the dark is real dark. I love that the light is real light. This is fabulous. As you can see, it's very, very well loved. And it took a really long time for my compact to break. It finally broke, but it took a very long time. I have literally had this contour kit for like a year and a half. And it has traveled in my makeup bags. So for like $1 compact, that's really not bad. But recently I came across the LA Colors contour kit. And this is in the shade Tan. I think they had a couple other colors, but I like when my contour kits have contrast. I don't like both colors to be similar. And so that had really good contrast, is probably why I picked it. So you have highlighters that come in this packaging, as well as I also have a palette that comes in this packaging. I love this packaging. The reason why I would pick, now granted for $1, it's a great little contour palette to have, but the reason why I like the Beauty Benefits Hollywood one a little bit better is because look at the swatches. And the LA Colors one is right there. It's almost like a taupe, you know, and it just looks a little muddy on my skin and doesn't do much. That one there is so rich. You know, you actually have to kind of go in with a pretty light hand, which is nice. It's very pigmented. So I just I'm not crazy about the dark shade in this contour kit. Now granted, the light shade I will probably get a lot of use out of because it's just a nice matte bone shade. And when you compare that to the Beauty Benefits Hollywood one, they're very comparable. So I will end up using the white shade in here. And the reason why I probably will is because I go through the darker one a whole lot slower than I go through the light one. So when I run out of the light one, I will probably go ahead and start using the light in this one. And then when the light's gone, I'll just throw that color away. So yeah, if you have to choose between either one of these, unless you're like really, really fair skinned, I would go with the Beauty Benefits Hollywood one for sure. So for bronzer, and if you've been on this channel for any length of time, I think I got this at the same time I got that contour kit. It's the Beauty Benefits Hollywood bronzer, and it's just this little matte bronzer that you have seen on my channel a million times. And it's just a really nice matte bronzer, which for the longest time I used to have a hard time finding. Now I'm finding them more often, but it used to be all bronzers were like shimmery, and I ain't got time for that. I've got a shimmery bronzer on my face right now, and I just about can't handle it. So the other two bronzers I have is the LA Colors bronzer in Baked, and the color, I think this is from the Color Workshop bronzer. So this one is matte and this one is kind of shimmery. And I like both of these a lot. Even though this one's a little bit shimmery, it's not offensive. But I think ultimately I would go with this one. So I have the swatches on my hand. This one right here is the Beauty Benefits Hollywood. That's the Color Workshop, and then this one right here is the LA Colors. See, like I said, the shimmer is not offensive. So that you can see they're all beautiful. I just like, this one's just a little bit more, it's warm, but it's not quite as warm as the Color Workshop one. So ultimately I would pick this one. Although if you run across any three, they're all good. They're all definitely worth the $1 you'll pay for them and more. They're good. But this one here for the $1, you get a little bit of a bigger pan. Compact is kind of nicer, and I just think the shade is, it's warm, but it's not too warm. So like I said, if what you see are these, they're good. You can totally pick them up, but if I were to see all three at the same time, I would pick this one up for myself personally. So blush. These two blushes I really like, and I use them both often. So it was a hard choice. This was a hard choice, but I've got the LA Colors Blush Single. This is in Berry Plum. I think this was in my last makeup basket. Just a really beautiful berry shade. And although, like I said, I love this blush, I was very pleasantly surprised by this blush. This blush I had seen for years and had never bought it, but it's the Color Mates, and this is in Marvelous. And you get a beautiful big pan. And like I said, they're both great, but I think between the two, the finished product for me, I like the Berry Plum a little bit better. So here they are swatched. Your left is the Berry Plum, and the other one is the Color Mates, the one on your right. The Color Mates is a little bit sparkly. I don't think you can really see it. It's a little bit more on the pink side. The Berry Plum is actually more mauve than this one, and this one kind of calls itself mauve. But like I said, both beautiful blushes, as you can see. I'm just generally happier with the result of the LA Colors. I feel like it goes on a little less splotchy, but again, if you see either one, they're both really great products. Like I said, I would tell you if one of them were not good. They probably would have been decluttered out of my collection if I didn't reach for them. But I do love both of these, but if I had to repurchase one of them today, I would repurchase this one. So for eyeshadow palettes, again, I didn't go with like hard candy or anything like that. I wanted to go with like LA colors because that's pretty much what you see. And palettes is relative. As you know, for me, for something to be a palette, it has to like 5 pans or more, but that's hard to find at the Dollar Tree. So I'm a little bit looser with palettes from the Dollar Tree. So we'll just say eyeshadows. So I love all 4 of these eyeshadow palettes. They were actually recently in a Dollar Tree makeup basket. They're still in my collection because I have not decluttered them. So I do like all of these. You can't go wrong with any of these if you're on a budget and want to get eyeshadows, but I have my preference of what I would repurchase if I had to today. And I'll tell you why. And I have quads that were actually gifted to me by my friend Dee Dee, and I love them, but I don't want to include them in this because I haven't actually seen them at my personal Dollar Tree. So I'm gonna go with things that I've seen at my personal Dollar Tree, even though I know you may not have seen these in your Dollar Tree. It's just the way it works. You know, it's just the way the Dollar Tree is. So these 3 right here are some of my favorite Dollar Tree eyeshadows of all time. I've had a few different trios like this, and these 2 are my absolute favorites out of all the ones I've tried. You've got Orchid and you've got Sunflower. And that right there is a little palette all in its own. You've got your darker shades, you've got your lighter shades, you've got some shimmers, and all that good stuff. These are 6 really good little eyeshadow shades to have. And then this is a little mini palette. I had another one of these that kind of looked like the Urban Decay Naked Heat. That wasn't great. So I decluttered it, but I kept this one because this is a gorgeous little palette. You get your shimmers, your mattes, you got your pops of color, you got your just your gorgeousness of this palette, and it's $1. So if you could find any 2 or 3 of these, or even one of these, and although I love this palette I'm gonna show you, if you could pick any 2 or 3 of these, if you could find all 3 of these, I would pick these over the palette I'm gonna show you. But I would even arguably pick these 2, because I do see these more often than I see this. I haven't seen this in a while. I would pick it over this palette. Even though I do love this palette, I think it's a bargain, and I think the eyeshadows are surprisingly good. And I've done a couple different looks with this too. It's the LA Colors 12 pan eyeshadow palettes. This one is in the shade Trendy. And it's really pretty, but honestly, some of these shades you're not gonna notice a big difference on the eye. So they could honestly have easily made this like 6 pans. You know what I mean? So I think the 12 shades is a little bit overkill, but I do love that you get a light white shade. I love these muted pops of green. And then of course I love the neutrals in here. You can't go wrong with these palettes for $1. They are fabulous. But if I had to pick one, if I were in the store and I could get like these 2 or this one or 3 of these, I would definitely pick these for sure. That would definitely be my first choice. So for highlight, and again, I'm just going with stuff from my Dollar Tree that I purchased myself that I've seen in my Dollar Trees pretty often. So my favorites, and this one is gonna include a hard candy one because it's kind of what I had to compare it with. I know that there's a lot of people that have not seen hard candy makeup at their Dollar Tree or haven't seen a lot of it. So this is gonna make you feel better. I'm about to make you feel better. So I love, as does a lot of people here on YouTube, these little LA Colors highlighters. I get Shine Bright and Glow Time, and I love them both. I use these all the time for not just highlight, but like an inner corner highlight and an under the brow bone highlight. Love them. But I also have this hard candy highlighter. This is the Fairy Dust highlighter, and of course it's gorgeous. And there's a couple different colors of these that I've seen in other videos but haven't run across in my Dollar Tree yet. But it's very unicorn. It's got pink and blue and purple. And although it's pretty and I was so happy to find it, I mean, it's gorgeous, it's not as practical as these. I mean, honestly, it's fun to buy this. Definitely if you come across it, pick it up. It's hard candy, you might as well. But yeah, if you run across these, and you can only buy one, I would buy one of these over that. In terms of what is actually more practical to wear, what you will get more use out of. You will definitely get more use out of one of these, for sure. So for eyebrow products, if you've been on this channel again, you know my love affair with this eyebrow product. I love this eyebrow product. And it is the LA Colors Brow Pencil. This is dark brown, and I recently bought, I think, just the medium brown shade, which I'm excited to try. But yeah, I love this eyebrow pencil a lot. It's got a little bit of tug, which I like. It's still smooth and creamy, but not too smooth and creamy, so I really love the result that I get with this. And then I've got these 2 other eyebrow products. This is and I've seen this quite a few times, so I'm gonna include it. It's the Revlon Color Stay Brow Mousse, and I think I've used this one time on my channel. This is in soft brown, and it's this kind of like liquid kind of a product. And then I also have this LA Colors Brow Cream Gel. This is in deep brown. I wouldn't really, I mean, this wasn't a complete disaster, but I wouldn't mess with it. I mean, it's cool that it's Revlon and everything, but ultimately I think you'll be happier if you do your eyebrows. You'll ultimately be happier with one of these. And if I had to pick between one of these, this is a great product. I would like a lighter color, and I don't think I've seen a lighter color, so deep brown is a little too dark. So I might like it better in like a shade lighter, but since I haven't run across a shade lighter, for me personally, I'm happier with the pencil. This is really creamy, really rich, really pigmented. And if you like something that's a little bit creamier with less tug, this is gonna be what you want. But for me personally, if I had to pick between the two, I would definitely pick this for myself personally. Now for eyeliner, and I might have to change my mind on this, I don't know. I filmed this video, obviously I filmed this makeup video before I recorded this video, and so I don't know if my opinion's gonna have changed, but I have two pencil eyeliners here. One is from e.l.f. and it's black, and it comes with a little sharpener on it. And this was my favorite pencil eyeliner that I had found at the Dollar Tree. And then this was gonna be my least favorite because for a long time it was. It's the LA Colors Auto Eyeliner. It's the retractable black eyeliner that LA Colors has. And I always thought this was not good. I kind of judge eyeliner based on how it goes on in my waterline. And I bought this, I didn't buy this particular one, but I bought one of these last year, and it was a disaster in my waterline, like it wouldn't take. But I am wearing it today in my waterline. I don't know if they changed the formula or what has changed, but now I don't know what I would tell you because this was my least favorite eyeliner in my collection, and now I'm not so sure. So I can't come up with a conclusion for this. I'm just completely dumbfounded, so we're gonna have to move on. So for lip liner, again, I see these pretty often. It's the e.l.f. lip liner, and I've only ever seen this shade. It's like a mauve, so it's like a good, you know, it's just a good, like, generic shade. Who doesn't love a mauve lip liner? And it's a decent darkness, which you know I like a darker lip liner, and it goes on really well, and it's got the little sharpener on the end. And then you probably have seen these quite a bit, and they have different shades. It's the LA Colors lip liner. It's a retractable lip liner pencil. This is in Bear With Me. And I love that it's retractable, and when I bought this, I wanted like the darkest nude that I could find, and this was the darkest nude that I could find that day. And it's a little light for me, so the top one is the e.l.f. and the bottom one is the LA Colors. It's a great lip liner pencil. In a lot of ways, I would say that it's actually smoother than the e.l.f., at least judging by how it went on my hand. But my problem is the color selection. So if I have to base it on color, I like the shade of the e.l.f. one better, and it's the only shade I've come across. But I'm hoping that eventually I'll be able to find some darker colors of this one. I think they have like a purple or a plum. I don't know. So if sitting here today, if it were me in the store, I would pick this one. But if you like a lighter pink, or a lighter nude, rather, I should say, lip liner, you will like this, and they do have some lighter shades and some other shades, but if I had to sit here today and pick just one, I would pick the e.l.f. one from the Dollar Tree, for sure. So in that recent video I did where I could only keep one makeup product in every category, I couldn't even, the lip products were, the lipstick was easy, but the lip gloss was impossible, impossible. Like I literally needed a category of just like LA Colors lip products. So I just picked something completely different because literally I almost feel like if I spend more than $1 on a lip gloss anymore, it's money wasted because LA Colors has so many great lip glosses. I used to have just like one that I liked. I used to like just the moisturizing lip glosses, and then they've gotten like 3 or 4 different ones over the last year or so that I've fallen in love with even more. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you all of my LA Colors lip glosses. So I'm gonna kind of go based on shade because all of these varieties, I think there's 3 or 4 in here. I love the variety, so I'm just gonna show you my personal shades that I prefer. That if I had to go and replace these, what colors, and all the colors were available, which ones I would get. So what I've liked for a long time was the moisturizing lip glosses from LA Colors, but they recently also came out with a plumping gloss, and it kind of bumped out my moisturizing lip gloss out of the front runners. So I've got some different shades of each. So I've got 3 of the plump glosses. The top one is in Shocker, the middle one is in Swell, and the bottom one is in Supreme. And out of all 3 of these, This shade right here, Shocker, is probably my favorite with like just a nice dark nude lip color. But these have bumped my moisturizing lip glosses out of the #1 spot. So I do have 3 of these moisturizing lip glosses. I got Flamingo Pink, and then I got Coral Crush there in the middle. That's a longtime favorite. And then I've got Just Kissed on the bottom. And out of these 3, this is a beautiful like pink shade, and it does show up pink on your lips. It's not like a matte pink, it's a gloss, but it is a very striking pink lip gloss. I would say my favorite is the Coral. This one I didn't notice a whole lot, so out of the 3, the Coral one is my favorite. So these are my 2 favorite shades, but if I had to pick between the lines, like the moisturizing or the plumping, I personally would pick the plumping. They both taste good. These kind of taste fruity, and these kind of taste more like dessert. And I think these are a little stickier than these. So I think ultimately I would pick the plumping gloss if I had a choice, but you also can't go wrong with these either. So if you don't see these and you want lip gloss from the Dollar Tree, these are a good way to go as well, but these are my favorite. And then you've got these Velvet Lip Mousses, and I don't know if they have more shades than what I have, but I've got 3. I've got Whipped on the top, got Rhapsody in the middle, and I get Souffle on the bottom. So I love these lip colors. They're fabulous. But I would say these are probably my 2 favorite shades. If you know me, a shade like this, although it's necessary to have in your collection, it's not my favorite shade of lip color, kind of like what I'm wearing. Then last but not least, I have these lip duos, and they have several shades of these, but I have 2. I have Charmed and Clarity. So Clarity is kind of like a really pretty pinkish kind of a lip color, and then Charmed is kind of like a berry. They're both great. For me personally, I like this shade right here the best. I just feel like it has the most punch. But like I said, these are really good. Just for me personally, when I wear these, I like to have a little bit of a bolder lip. But yeah, these are really, really great. It's just if I had to pick between the 2 shades, I would pick this one for sure. Because also too, the lip gloss has a color to it as well, so you can literally just wear that on its own. Whereas the other one's just like a clear lip gloss, which is cool. But yeah, between the shades, I'd pick this one right here. So I hope that you enjoyed this Dollar Tree version of a buy this, not that, or buy this instead of that. And if you did, please show me you liked it by hitting that like button. And if you made it this far and you're not yet subscribed and you love Dollar Tree oriented makeup videos, I do them very often. Definitely subscribe and hit that bell. That way you don't miss an upload. I do tend to post on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, usually in the evenings. So it would help me out so much. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for returning, or thank you for joining me for the very first time. I appreciate it so much. I will have that playlist, the Dollar Tree Makeup and Haul playlist, linked down below. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.